Your entire emotional life is a lie. Every tear you've shed over someone's words. Every night sleep abandoned you after an argument. Every moment your heart raced with anger or your stomach knotted with anxiety because of what someone did or said. All of it, a complete fabrication of your own mind. Harsh? Perhaps. But what if I told you this realization is the doorway to a freedom so profound that most people will live and die without ever tasting it? Look at your hand. Now make a fist. Feel the tension in your muscles, the pressure of nail against palm. Now release it. Who controlled that movement? Who created that tension? Who released it? You did. Not your mother, not your boss, not your partner. You. Yet when it comes to emotional tension, the fist you make in your mind, you've convinced yourself that others are controlling your hand. This isn't philosophy. This isn't self-help. This is the brutal reality that Carl Jung discovered buried beneath layers of human consciousness. A reality that, once fully grasped, renders external reality powerless over your internal state. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves, Jung wrote. But he wasn't handing out warm platitudes. He was giving you the master key to a psychological prison you've been locked in since childhood. Most won't use this key. The bars are familiar, the cell feels safe. But you, I think you're different. I think you're ready to face what most people spend their lives running from. The truth. Nobody has ever had the power to hurt you emotionally. That power has always resided in one place and one place only, your own mind. Right now, someone out there is thinking about you. Maybe they're criticizing you behind your back. Maybe they're laughing at that vulnerable thing you shared. Maybe they're deciding you're not good enough. Does that make your chest tighten? Your breathing shallow? Can you feel the familiar heat of shame or anger rising? That reaction, that's the problem. You've handed over the controls to your emotional state to people who don't even know they possess them. You've made yourself a puppet, strings held by anyone who happens to wander onto your life stage. Think about the last time someone's words cut you deeply. What actually happened? Sound waves traveled through air, vibrated your eardrum. Electrical signals reached your brain, and then, here's the crucial part. You assigned meaning to those signals. You decided they were an attack. You created an emotional hurricane in response. Society has programmed you since birth to believe you're a victim of circumstance. She made me feel bad. His comment ruined my day. Their rejection devastated me. All lies. The truth? You ruined your own day, you devastated yourself, you made yourself feel bad, and we keep doing it. We base our self-worth on the opinions of people who are just as confused as we are. We measure our success by standards we didn't even choose. We contort ourselves to fit expectations we unconsciously absorbed from a society that profits from our insecurity. Jung saw this clearly. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Why terrifying? Because it means taking radical responsibility. It means admitting that you, not them, not circumstances, not bad luck. You are the author of your emotional experience. What's harder to accept, that others can wound you at will, or that you've spent your entire life unnecessarily wounding yourself? There's something living inside you that you refuse to see. Jung called it the shadow, the disowned parts of yourself that don't fit your conscious self-image, the judgmental boss you despise, the needy friend who drains you, the arrogant colleague who triggers your rage. They're not just people out there, they're mirrors reflecting parts of yourself you've banished to the basement of your psyche. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves, Jung wrote. He wasn't being poetic. He was describing a psychological mechanism that operates whether you're aware of it or not. Here's how it works. Every quality you deny in yourself, you will inevitably project onto others. And when you see it out there, You'll react with an intensity that has nothing to do with them and everything to do with your refusal to acknowledge that quality in yourself. You hate selfishness in others. Look deeper. There's a part of you that's selfish too, a part you've disowned because it doesn't fit your self-image as a giving person. You can't stand arrogance? Dig deeper. There's a part of you that feels superior, a part you've repressed because it conflicts with your identity as a humble person. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate, Jung warned. Your unconscious is running the show and you don't even know it. Think about it. Why can identical words from different people affect you so differently? Why does criticism about your work ethic devastate you, while criticism about your cooking barely registers? Because the former activates a shadow, a fear you already harbor that you're lazy or inadequate. The latter doesn't connect with any deep insecurity. Your emotional reactions have never been about other people. They've always been about the unhealed, unacknowledged parts of yourself. Your mind is a projection machine. What you refuse to see in yourself, you will see everywhere else. What you judge most harshly in others is what you cannot accept in yourself. And here's the most disturbing truth. The parts of yourself you refuse to face don't disappear. They become the unconscious filters through which you perceive everyone else. You're not seeing people as they are. You're seeing them through the distorted lens of your own unacknowledged shadows. Most people spend their lives trying to control the uncontrollable, other people's perceptions, actions, and words. It's like trying to direct the weather. You're exhausting yourself fighting forces you cannot possibly master. The path to psychological immunity begins with a single radical shift. Taking 100% responsibility for your emotional reactions, not partial responsibility, not most of the responsibility, all of it. This doesn't mean others' actions don't matter. It means their actions are simply events. Your interpretation of those events, often unconscious and automatic, creates your emotions. I am not what happened to me, Jung wrote. I am what I choose to become. Let that sink in. You are not defined by external events. You are defined by your response to them. Consider Viktor Frankl in Nazi concentration camps, the most extreme suffering humanly possible. Even there, he discovered, between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. If Frankl could find this space amid such horror, what's your excuse? This path demands courage, not the courage to face others, but the courage to face yourself. To ask not, why are they doing this to me, but why am I reacting this way? It requires acknowledging that what infuriates you in others is often what you've disowned in yourself. The qualities you despise out there are shadows of what you refuse to see in here. This work isn't comfortable. Jung knew this. There is no coming to consciousness without pain, but on the other side of that pain lies freedom. When you truly grasp that your emotional reactions are about you, your programming, your wounds, your interpretations, you begin to see difficult interactions as opportunities rather than attacks. Every trigger becomes a teacher. Every reaction becomes a map to your unconscious. Every difficult person becomes a mirror, showing you exactly where healing is needed. You stop asking the world to change so you can feel better. You change yourself and discover the world was never the problem. The ultimate power isn't building emotional armor. It's developing the ability to witness your emotional reactions without being consumed by them. Picture a mountain standing unmoved as storms rage around it. The storms are your emotions, powerful, temporary, constantly changing. You are not the storms, you are the mountain. This state of witnessing rather than identifying is what Jung meant by individuation, becoming who you truly are beneath the masks you wear for others. In practice, this means catching yourself in the moment of reaction, feeling anger rise but creating space between the feeling and your response, asking, what in me is being triggered? What old wound is being activated? What disowned part of myself am I seeing reflected back to me? The psychologically invincible person doesn't avoid difficult emotions. They welcome them as messengers pointing toward greater self-knowledge. Consider this. What if nothing has inherent meaning except the meaning you give it? What if an insult is just sound waves until you interpret them as threatening? What if rejection is just another person's preference until you decide it defines your worth? This isn't positive thinking. It's the recognition that meaning itself is created within you, not imposed. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart, Jung wrote. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. The ultimate power is awakening to the truth that you are not at the mercy of the world. You are the creator of your experience of it. This doesn't happen overnight. It's a practice, a continuous returning to awareness. But with each return, the gap between trigger and reaction widens. Your freedom expands. And gradually, you no longer need others to change for you to feel peace. You no longer need to control the uncontrollable. You become psychologically sovereign. In this state, nobody and nothing can affect you unless you allow it. Not because you've built walls, but because you've discovered who you really are beyond your reactions. The storm and the mountain. During the fiercest storms, lightning splits the sky. Thunder shakes the earth. Rain lashes against the mountainside in violent sheets. And the mountain simply is. Unmoved, unwavering, fully present to the storm, yet not defined by it. This is psychological immunity, not an absence of storms, but a presence so rooted that no storm can shake your foundation. Jung knew this state isn't achieved by escaping the human condition, but by embracing it fully, shadow and all. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. This journey isn't for the faint of heart. It requires facing parts of yourself you've spent a lifetime avoiding. It demands relinquishing the comforting victim story that blames others for your emotional pain. It asks you to stand utterly alone, responsible for your inner world in a way few are willing to be. But on the other side lies freedom most will never taste. The freedom to be yourself in a world demanding you be something else. The freedom to remain centered when everything around you is chaos. The freedom to love without fear, to create without doubt, to live without shame. The privilege of a lifetime, Jung wrote, is to become who you truly are. This is what's at stake. Not that you'll never feel pain, but that you'll no longer suffer unnecessarily. Not that others can't impact your life, but that they can no longer colonize your inner state without your consent. The next time someone's words seem to wound you, remember, the knife isn't in their hand, it's in yours. And you can put it down anytime you choose. You can't control the storm, but you can be the mountain. I'll ask you one last time. Will you continue to blame the weather for your suffering? Or will you finally become the mountain? The choice, as it has always been, is yours alone. Before you go, I want to hear from you. What shadow have you been projecting onto others that you're now ready to acknowledge in yourself? What emotional reaction do you realize has been your creation all along? Share your insights in the comments below. If this perspective has challenged you, if you felt that shift in awareness while watching, hit that subscribe button. This channel is for those rare individuals willing to look deeply into themselves rather than blame the world. Each video here is another key to the psychological freedom Jung described. Like this video if you're ready to start the journey towards psychological immunity. Your like signals to YouTube that this message should reach others who are searching for the same freedom.